Hello again to another Actually React, and today we will be watching Australia's dinosaur trees are thriving in Britain. Here's why, from Leave Curious. And I just look at the first frame of that video, and I thought I knew what tree they gonna be talking about, but no, I didn't. I never seen that thing. So let's just start and just learn about the dinosaur trees and why they call it that.
Behind me are Wollemi pines. These are trees which lived with the dinosaurs some 200 million years ago. They are some of the world's oldest and rarest living trees. And it was discovered by chance back in 1994. Before then, we thought this tree had been extinct for some 90 million years. This tree is a living fossil, which means that it has remained essentially unchanged since earlier times, and all of its close relatives are now extinct. But what made this discovery even more immense was that there were so few of these trees, less than 150 found in a very narrow range. And today, Australia's dinosaur tree is critically endangered. It's facing some serious threats, but there are some brilliant restoration and conservation efforts to ensure that this tree has a future. And I'm here on the other side of the world in England at the Marks Hall estate, where there is a mini forest of these prehistoric trees emerging. But more on that in just a minute, because let's go back and take a look at how this tree was discovered. Avid bushwalker David Noble, completely by chance in September of 1994, happened upon a very small patch of these ancient looking trees in a remote rainforest gorge of the Wollemi National Park. The location of these pines was so remote that he had to abseil in. And knowing that he found something potentially really remarkable, he took a sample of it. And he showed this to Australia's expert botanists and scientists, and they were pretty puzzled because this fern-like looking branch had in fact come from a tree. Because you see, the only time that we'd ever seen anything remotely like this was in 90 million year old fossils in Jurassic rocks. They thought that trees like this had long been extinct, and at the time they gave it the working name, the Wollemi pine, or is it the Wollemi pine? I might be saying it wrong. And that was named after the national park, and this name had stuck, but they later gave it the scientific name Wollemi nobilis, and that was after David Noble, the man who discovered it. As the tree matures, they get this really distinctive, like bubbling bark. It looks like bubbling chocolate, a lot like the popular breakfast cereal Cocoa Pops. And then you've got its branches, which are equally pretty unique. They form these like long single branches which come off the stem. They don't branch out into new branches. They just get a little bit longer with each growing season. And it also naturally coppices, so it forms these like other stems coming up. This is likely a resilience mechanism so that if one stem fails, then another one can take its place. And these Wollemis here at Marks Hall, they are quite young. They're about 17 years old and they were planted small, but they've got pretty tall. But you know, the ones which were found in Australia, they would have been about 40 meters tall. They would have had these big wide stems and they can reach ages of about 1,000 years old. So the long gradual decline which led to the Wollemis becoming so few in number was largely due to climate change over millions of years. Australia's climate shifted from a more tropical wet climate to a much more arid climate, and the trees' preferred habitat, which are these wet gorges, they just became a lot fewer. And when you're talking millions of years, you know, natural disasters such as bushfires and floods and pests and diseases also would have played a role in this tree's decline. And that one spot in the Wollemi National Park, that really is the only place where we know that these trees live natively in the wild. So they are incredibly vulnerable, they are incredibly sensitive to changes in climate, to forest fires and pests and diseases. And it's actually incredibly easy for humans to move around pathogens. Just one little tiny particle of infected soil moved from one area into another can introduce a pathogen like Phytophthora, which is a root decaying fungus. And we've actually observed this in the Wollemi pines in recent years. So it's got in there somehow. Whether if it's come from us, we're not sure, but it is pretty likely. Now the Wollemis in their original area, it is a really inaccessible area. So thankfully people aren't going in there and seeing them all the time. But a tree which is as fragile as these trees in their native range, they need to be treated as such. So their location is kept a secret, and scientists that do know where they are, they only go and see them when they really have to. And the climate change, which is a phrase which usually means doom and gloom, it's not a nice thing. And for the Wollemis, this is true. They are incredibly susceptible to forest fires. And the one we had about 4 years ago, one of Australia's worst ever recorded, most intense and catastrophic bushfires, this very nearly got to the Wallamies. And in order to defend the trees, an irrigation system was set up in the gorge to keep the area wet. Massive air tankers dropped fire retardant, and as the fire got closer, helicopters dropped water from massive buckets. These efforts to protect the trees were unprecedented, and they were successful. But while there's so few of them in the wild, the threat from these fires, they still remain. So you've got these conservation efforts, which is all about bolstering and protecting the remaining wallamies which are there. But what about the restoration efforts? Well, there's some really amazing work being done. So through taking cuttings and seeds, Australian scientists, through some advanced scientific methods, they've been able to develop and create 3 distinct lineages of these trees. Because you see, when you've got so few left, genetic diversity is a problem. And they've used this new stock of pines in 2 distinct ways. Firstly, by translocating them back out into their native range to try and bolster that area and ensure that they can, grow in that native range. But also, they've been used as part of creating a meta collection all over the world, in places just like here at the Marks Hall Estate in England. They are like a very unique looking tree, and you must be proud to have them here.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're a great addition. That's what tree collections are all about. It's the conservation of species. I read somewhere the other day that there could be only about 50 mature individuals left in the wild. So having a collection like this is invaluable. Even if a botanic garden or arboretum's just got 1 or 2 of them, it's still preserving the species.
Yeah, it's everything really. And you're hoping to have more? You're hoping to
I've got quite an ambitious target. I'd quite like to have 150 to 200 when the arboretum expands. Then it'd be great to walk through a Wallamy forest in the future. It's kind of what we do well here, is plant a single species en masse to give someone, that kind of feeling of walking through an environment they wouldn't necessarily be able to walk through.
And the other really cool thing is that you can own one of these trees. You can keep it in your garden, or you can even grow it in a pot indoors. You can not only have yourself a little piece of prehistoric history, but you can also help safeguard this species. And if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please consider becoming a Leave Curious member over on Patreon, where you'll not only be able to support the channel, but you'll also be able to dive deeper into the world of Leave Curious, see more about the project, see the places that we visit, and also be able to engage and influence and have your say in where the project goes. And please do all of the YouTube things like liking and subscribing, and if you want to keep watching the channel, then please check out the video that's on the screen now. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Leave Curious. Wait.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Okay, so I just want to see some more pictures of that Wallamy pine. Let's see, is it gonna work? Did I misspell it?
I think rewilding is all about giving our tired...
Why my Google is not working? I don't understand. No, I don't wanna. I wanna write here. Okay, let's see. Let's try it this way. For some reason, whenever I try to type, I don't know what I did. I'm gonna show you here now. When I'm typing in here, Wallamy pine, instead of typing in the Google search, it's going straight to this one here. I don't know why. I never change anything for settings like that, so I don't understand that. But okay. I mean, Google. It's not working for me. Why? Why aren't you working for me? That's really annoying. There you go. It started working when I went paste and go. Okay, so let's go to images. Giant redwoods. Okay. It doesn't really show that much, but it is kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't really learn much from the search. It's probably just saying all what was said already, and oh, look at this! They have like two different. Is that fruits or something like that? Is it? And there's like a pine. Oh, there's a pine, yeah, isn't it? And this one. It's kind of cool. Let's see. What did they say? Reviving a leafy dinosaur, the Wollemi pine. Oh. Kew Gardens, London. Okay. Okay. I like the fact that they keep the location secret, because there would be probably someone who would be trying to go and eradicate, or maybe not eradicate, because, you know, but you never know what with people. You really don't know. And it's a cool story. It's not a tree that I ever heard. I never heard about that tree before, but there's no surprise because it was just found in 90s. So yeah. And yeah, did you ever hear about those Wollemi or Australia's dinosaur trees before? And what you think about the way how they're trying to protect it? I really like the effort to protect it from the fires as well. That's a really cool idea. I mean, not idea, but a really cool thing to do. So, thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye!